What is up? We are back. Just made a whole ass video. Turns out the audio wasn't working. So she was like getting ready to cry and shit. It was like legit. It was like, what the fuck? Oh, okay. Now, because I had to delete the other video, because the audio wasn't working, so we have to re-record everything. Let me reintroduce my wife, Michaela Halliday. Want to say hi? That's her saying hi. So in this video, we are going to be going over some shit, like every video. But in this video, can you turn that lamp off? Give me a weird glare. It's all gravy, baby. All right, now that's cool. In this video, we're going to be going over my story, why I went to prison, and pretty much everything I do with my normal hosts. But this time, I'm going to be the one. So, babe, you want to join me? We'll do this a little different than last time. Scoot your chair up about right here. Get in. You got to shut that window. And turn the light on. Okay. Better. Sorry about that. Okay. Now, this time, you are going to interview me. So, boop. There's a flip for you. M. Night Shyamalan, this bitch. Okay, now. So I'm going to talk about my story. And then you tell me or ask me any questions that you have. And then we'll go into what you feel about the situation, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, now. So, story starts in 2012. 'Twas an 18-year-old kid, scared, homeless. No? Should I be serious? Okay, I'll be serious. All right, here we go. All right, getting in there. 2012, I was an 18-year-old kid. Scared, homeless. I was living on the streets for about 2 months underneath the bridge next to the Angel Stadium. If you don't know where that is, it's Anaheim, California.
Did you delete the other one?
I couldn't figure out how to delete it, so I made it private so no one else can see it. I'll figure out how to delete it and then it'll just be gone. But anyway, I got an email. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Fucking A. How many times do I got to tell the goddamn story? All right. I got a message on Facebook. I was at the library messaging people asking if they can give me a roof over my head. I'll pay their rent. I'll fucking clean their dishes. I'll do whatever I need to do. And I got a message on Facebook from this person that I never really talked to before. And they said they'd put a roof over my head. They can pay for my plane ticket out to Colorado. They live in Longmont, Colorado. They'll pick me up at the airport. I'm like, bet. So I go out there and they pick me up from the airport. It was this elderly fat lady, sorry. And all right, so that's at DIA. And now if you know Colorado, if you don't know Colorado, let me explain this. DIA is out in like the middle of nowhere. Longmont is pretty far from DIA. Now, in order to drive back and forth, there was a lot of empty fields. Like, it's not like California with everything close together. Everything's spread out. So she pulls over. It's dark by this time in the middle of a field. And she turns around. I'm in the back seat. And she says, look, you got 2 choices. 1, you can get out of the car, go live a happy life. 2, continue being in this car with me. We'll go back to my place. The only way that I'm going to let you stay at my place and do everything is if you fuck me and my daughter. I kind of already out there in the middle of a field, so I'm like, I agree. We get there, she feeds me, tells me to take off my clothes, go into the next room. I do. Now I'm laying there, and they come in. I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to skip ahead. I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to hear about that. After everything, I know this is kind of embarrassing, but I I got in the corner. I was like slumped up in the corner crying and everything because I really did not enjoy what just happened. I was ashamed. I didn't want to be a part of that. I was even having trouble getting an erection the entire time because I'm not attracted to either one of these people. And there was like a 5 or 6 year age difference between me and the daughter. So it was really kind of, but she seemed completely okay, like even egging me on to do more. And I'm like, no, it's like, I can't really say no at this point. Anyway, so I get on the computer, then, following days, and it's in the living room. And imagine behind me right there is a hallway and a bathroom at the end of it, 2 doors on the left hand side. Now, anyway, I'm pretty sure everyone else is gone, but the mom's just in the room back there. Um, I get on the computer. I can't handle living out here anymore. I'd rather be homeless. So I contact my mom, and I'm like, look, I explain the situation to her. I'm like, I need to get out of here. I need to get out of here. I can feel it. Hair on the back of my neck are standing up. I need to get out of here. And she says that she will give me a plane ticket and let me come home under the condition that I go to anger management counseling. I agree because it's the only way for me to get out of this situation. She says, okay, and she'll buy a plane ticket the following day. Now, I wasn't there for this next part. I get up and I go to the bathroom at the end of the hall. Remember, I told you there's 2 rooms on the side, bathroom at the end of the hall. So I go to the end of the hall and I go to the bathroom. Now, what I'm assuming happened is that the mom came out to the living room either to go to the kitchen for something, but then saw the computer on, read the message that was just sent about the plane ticket, got pissed off. That is what I'm assuming happened. And the reason why I'm assuming that is because what happened next. The very next morning, she was casual the entire evening. The very next morning, when I was getting ready to pack up my stuff and head to the airport, the cops showed up and I was arrested. They charged me originally with 3 different things. And my public defender was horrible. This is why you got to pay for a lawyer, guys. My public defender was freaking awful. My public defender told me that if I take a deal, then they were going to give me a life sentence. A life sentence. The deal was 2 years and 2.5 years in DOC, 2 years parole, 10 years probation, 6 months at a halfway house. So I take it. I go to prison. I do almost the entire 2.5 years. I get out. I do parole. After I get regressed, go to CMRC's where I met Jeff. You guys saw him in one of the other episodes. Get out. They tried to have me start my probation. I was only on probation for like a month or 2 before I self-revoked, went back to, and I told them I'd rather do prison sentence. So they turned my 10-year prison sentence into a 10-year probation sentence, into a 6-year prison sentence. I did 5 of that. Got 1 year off for good time. Then I had to do a 5-year parole tail after that. But because around that time, there was a new law that was put in place, making 5-year parole tails illegal, which means that the max parole they could have given me was 3. Now remember, I was self-regressed, so my parole kept going on. That's 1 year completely down. I did 2, and now I'm done. Now I'm completely off parole. But so that's my story. Now, ever since then, I'm having trouble getting jobs. I've had like 5-6 jobs since I've been out, and each one of them has fired me because of my background. Even though they had nothing to do with kids, even though they had nothing to do with women, they had nothing to do with anything like that, they still fired me because of, I consider that a hate crime. I consider that to be, you're not firing me for any legitimate reason except for your personal feelings about something I did 10 years ago. Does that really seem right? Now I'm going to open up the floor a second time for my wife, my beautiful wife, Kayla. and I'm going to ask you questions, and I just need you to answer them. And these questions, I'm assuming you guys have. Number one, do you feel safe with me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Do you feel that I am a danger to anyone?
No.
Do you know everything about my past?
Yes.
Okay. When did I tell you about my past the first time?
About a year ago. It was about October 4th. I'm pretty sure it was October 4th, but if not, then it was like a few days later after that, after you were trying to figure out if, me and you were going to
So
be a long-term thing.
Around when we first met.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So, I'm assuming those are the questions that you guys had. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you talk freely and say anything that you want to say to them, anything that you feel they need to know. Okay? So, let's switch spots. I will maneuver over here.
Okay.
All right. You're in the captain's chair, woman.
Okay, so I'll try to explain this to the best of my ability the second time. Usually, whenever I repeat myself, I don't remember half the things I said before. So
just speak from the heart.
Okay. So back to where I met Joe from a year ago, in October. Whenever I was saying that whenever we first met, he'd tell me, because he was just trying to make sure if we were going to be if it was going to be a permanent thing or if it wasn't. So, and usually whenever you want something to be serious with someone or it's going to be long term, yeah, you're going to want to tell them, but it's best to figure out if it's going to be a forever thing versus a short time thing. So whenever he figured that out on his end, because at that point I already knew that I wanted it to be forever on my end, but on his end I wasn't really quite sure. So whenever he figured that out, he told me. At first I was a little worried at first, but I was like, well, it's part of his background. It's like it's not hurting him now in any way. Plus, it's like from the situation that did happen, none of it is his fault. So it's like you can't help, being homeless. Yeah, I've been homeless before on my end. There's things I've had to do. I've had to survive as well. But I've had to do it in Colorado, to whereas him, he didn't know Colorado. So he was lost. And I've been in that place before, to where going to a different state, being homeless in a different state. Yeah, it's like I had no idea what I was doing. So I've been there before. Plus being that young, it's like you're scared, it's like you're confused, it's like but me, I've never been homeless at that young. I was a little bit older, but so I had a lot more knowing and knowledge. But him being that young, yeah, you kind of, it's like you don't think that you're going to be homeless at that age. So it's like whenever he told me, it's like I wasn't quite sure, but I knew that I wanted to be with him forever. So I knew that whatever, what would come our way, we'd figure out it together, as a couple, and whatever issues and stuff, we'll fix and we'll talk about it, and, we'll figure it out. So having it be a year later, to where we've been together for a year, but we've been married since July. So as you can see, yeah, we've had our issues and our things here and there, but we're still together. We still have figured things out. So as long as we're together, it's like we're stronger together than we are apart.
Yes.
And I just know that without him, it's just half the time I just don't know what I'm going to do half the time without him. So I'm just...
I love you.
I love you too. So I'm just glad that I have him in my life. So.
See? Not a monster. Now, one thing I am going to go into is the title that they gave me. Because I did this on the other video and I forgot to do it this one, so I'm going to re-go into that. Now, they have a designation in Colorado. It's for SVP, Sexually Violent Predator. Now, you hear that name and it sounds like the worst of the worst. They have me labeled as that. Now, let me give you the rundown on this. There is 5 criteria to be considered an SVP. There is no high school diploma or GED. There is previous criminal history. Now, that can be something as small as a misdemeanor. There is got to be known to the victim or not know the victim, which that's kind of weird because you're kind of covering both sides of that. Sounds suspiciously like cheating. And what was the other ones? There was 2 other ones. Being in a position of trust, which I wasn't. And the 5th one was shit. I forgot what it was. But it has nothing to do with violence. I'll pull them up eventually and put them up on the screen. I'll just have to save that for another episode where we'll talk about specifically about SVPs. But anyway, they have nothing to do with violence whatsoever. And my crime itself has nothing to do with violence. I did not force myself. I did not coerce anyone. I didn't manipulate anyone. I didn't blackmail anyone. I didn't put my hands on anyone. As a matter of fact, if anyone, and you can vouch for this, whenever we have sex, don't I say, hey, I go a little hard, so if you need me to stop, just say stop and I'll stop.
Yeah.
And haven't I stopped every time you said?
Yeah.
See? That's what I do. I've been doing it since I lost my virginity. It's because I know I'm a big guy. I know I am prone to hurt people when I lose myself in my head. So I set that standard in the beginning. And so yeah, this is literally the last time I'm going to talk about my situation. I'm not doing this. I'm off parole. I've served my time. I did my sentence. As far as I'm concerned, the only person's opinion that matters to me is hers and my family's, but mainly her. So if I do have haters out there, cool. That means I'm doing something right. I ain't tripping on it. So you go ahead and post all your negative comments, all you want. I'm still going to be here. I'm still going to be loved by the people that matter. And I'm still going to be trying to help people. You guys are not going to break my spirit. I'm just going to say that right now. Now, for the other side of this thing, and the people that are actually legitimately listening to me because they care, they're being supportive, and they're legitimately trying to change their lives, I got you. Post those positive comments. Let's show people that I'm not alone. Let's show people that other people that are in these situations are not alone. Granted, this channel is not just about that. It's about every crime, it's about anyone who has gotten locked up, has a release date, has been released, and is dealing with some sort of turmoil because of their past. When they get off parole years later down the line, would it be at 1 year to 3 years, when they get off parole, if they haven't done anything wrong, they should be given a second chance in society. Treat him like your brother. Treat him like your neighbor. Treat him like someone that is human. That's all I'm saying. So this is the end of this video, and I swear to God, if this audio is not recording, I am breaking this laptop and buying a new one.
If you break it, you can't record stuff anymore.
Never mind.
Good point. Good point, Mike. You do have a good point.
See, she keeps me level-headed. Love you.
Love you too.
All right. So stay safe out there. Like, subscribe, comment. Send this to people if you want to. But yeah, that's me. Laters.